Good morning, class. Thanks for tuning into this video. I'm so happy to be virtually with you today and introduce today's topic, strength or needs assessment. So today's topic circles around four key issues. The first issue is that our students are unique. We know that they come to school with unique abilities and experiences based on their backgrounds. The second issue is that these backgrounds result in our students' strengths and needs, specifically linguistic, content, educational, and cultural strengths and needs. The third issue is that our students' learning of both content and language depends in large on how we approach and address their strengths and needs. Finally, we educators can use a variety of tools, strategies, and resources to uncover those strengths and needs and make sure our students are well accommodated in the teaching and learning process. And this is what we know as strength and needs assessment. So what type of information should be gathered and how? We know the more information we have access to, the better we are able to accommodate our students. But what is important to be collected, and how should we go about collecting information on those? First off, we need to gather some general information about our students. Information such as home context, likes and dislikes, experiences with the school, language, living in the US, and so on. Questions such as, did you go to school in your home country? If so, for how long? Or do you come from a big city or from the country? Or how many people live in your home? Could definitely help with collecting general information about our students. Some of the techniques that you can employ to gather general information include surveys, conversations, wall write, moving questions, and dialogue journals. Another area that we need to look into is our learners' language backgrounds. The reason we need to collect this information is twofold. First, we know that languages may be different syntactically. For instance, a language such as English operates primarily in a subject, verb, object word order, whereas other languages may not. For example, Farsi, my first language, operates primarily in subject, object, verb word order. Although the subject, verb, object is also prevalent, primarily Farsi operates in subject, object, verb. And this could create a potential need for the students coming from Farsi background, for instance, and they may not be able to transfer their linguistic skills from Farsi to English very easily, and this may lead to confusion for them, for instance. The second reason to delve into learners' language backgrounds is the distinction between BICS and CAPS, which we studied in Chapter 1. We know that both areas develop at different rates, so it is important to know at what level our students are and do our best to accommodate their linguistic needs. In addition to formal ways of assessing English language proficiency, such as administering an ELPA 21 proficiency test, we can always ask questions about our students' language backgrounds. Questions such as, what can you do in your first language that you can't do in English? Or what language do you usually speak with your family? Could definitely help to gather more information about our students' language backgrounds. Also, we can engage them in activities. We can ask our students to retell a story, or to role play, or orally report something. Through these tools, we can always gather information on our students' language backgrounds and language proficiency levels, and this information could potentially help us to differentiate instruction. Another area to gather information about is our students' educational or academic background. Questions such as these could guide our inquiry. How many years has the student been in school? How many of those years were spent in the United States? Or what is the last grade level the student attended? So looking into the students' academic records at school could definitely provide us with some information, but we can always also ask questions directly from previous teachers, parents, and other sources that we can get some answers from. Another area to look into is our students' background and knowledge. It is true that we have a general idea of our students' academic background through looking into school files, talking to the previous teachers, but we also need to make sure that we know our students' levels of content knowledge. And it's also very important to separate language and content, because students and English language learners' lack of English proficiency may not allow them to freely and easily express themselves. So it's very important to also provide them with different modes of expression, such as drawing, acting, singing, playing, and other modes. One of the useful techniques in assessing a student's content background and knowledge is employing a KWL or KWLS form. A KWLS chart can help us know what the students already know and what they want to know, what they have learned, and what they still want to learn. Next class, our strategy demonstration will focus on KWLS charts. Another useful tool in understanding more about our students' content background and knowledge is administering an interest survey or an interest inventory. This tool can potentially provide us with very useful information on what our students are passionate about, and we can use this information to create and plan instruction. A final piece of information which educators need to collect is cultural background. This area, which is very important, includes issues such as religion, beliefs, values, home responsibilities, etc. As Boyle 2016 notes, understanding students' cultural backgrounds can help educators bridge the gap between home and school, and it could help them organize their instruction and plan in a culturally responsive manner. The first step in collecting cultural information would be to actually read about or watch documentaries on those cultures. The second step would be immersing yourself in those cultures by inviting parents and community members to your school or class, arranging cultural events, conducting interviews with them. Also, having dialogue journals and or a technological way of doing that would also allow students to share their cultures and their values through discussions. Also, personal narratives and stories would also be very helpful to show different facets of each culture. All right, so with this information, you're now ready to work on class tasks. The first task is creating your needs assessment scheme. So you've been given 5 categories of items or possible areas that you can delve into about your English language learners' background and learning experiences. And you are asked to create 2 questions to address each category. The questions could be either open-ended or close-ended. And at the end of this activity, you should have 10 questions. You don't have to turn this in, just hold on to it. And we'll use your schemes next class to interview our guest. As you can tell from Canvas, we're going to have a guest from Libya who will share their experiences with us about being in the US, learning and teaching in the US actually. And we can also ask them questions about our English language learners with Libyan backgrounds. All right, so the second task is a check-in that I have created to get to know you better. Through this task, I just want to know more about your strengths and possible needs, and make sure that you're accommodated, make sure that you're actually learning in this course. So please share with me what you think about this course, and share with me anything that you think I could incorporate in my teaching to make sure that you're accommodated. You don't have to turn this activity in. This is not a graded activity or a graded task. It's only a communication channel between you and me, and it doesn't count towards your final grade. It's just a conversation. And as you know, we're educators, and we always try to collect information on our students, and in hopes that we will create a more supportive environment for them. All right, thank you very much. Please feel free to contact me should you have any questions or concerns. I wish you a very happy rest of the day.